much of that, healthy parenting that you just mentioned comes from starting to prioritize your own self-care and
Oh
your
my
own
gosh,
emotional well-being? But I
totally.
do know, through observation, through speaking with people, there is this thing, a little bit of this mother martyr syndrome that I need to
Mm.
place them first. I
Oh my
don't
gosh.
have time to eat well. I don't have time to do all that stuff, that self-care stuff. And it's all about my children. You work with mothers probably that, have
Whew.
this kind of a thing. What do you tell them? Like, how do you break through that? Because I could also understand most
Yeah,
parents feel that, of course, it's a sacrifice. We know that. A child's, life belongs in your hands and the decisions you make. It's a big, big sacrifice.
massive.
Nevertheless, so much of what you're saying is it starts with you. What they
Absolutely.
see you doing is so much more important. How do you get through to people that say, I just don't have the time, Courtney? I'm just doing this and this all for them, and I'll put myself last.
Yeah. So the easiest way is when we all travel. I mean, it's like such an easy example of when we, when we're on the airplane, the, flight attendant always comes on and they're like, hey, if anything happens, like make sure you put on your own oxygen mask first
They do.
before you put somebody else's on. And
Right.
so I travel a ton. So for somebody that travels, they'll get that. For someone else that doesn't travel, then it might be a little bit harder. But we honestly have to give them permission to, like, I personally have to give them permission. Like, I have to have them sign. I'm gonna have them sign something like, this is our agreement. You have permission to take care of you first before your children or your spouse or your care, your parents. Because we do, like, I mean, when I was in the thick of it, I mean, Adam, the father of my children, deployed to Afghanistan for a year. Like,
Mm,
not supposed to happen,
mm,
but it happened. And the girls were 1 and 3 at the time. And, I luckily was very habitual and I had amazing rituals of working out. Like, I just know my mental health. And if I don't work out, I am not okay. And I mean, I remember Adam, he would like push me out the door and be like, go to yoga, please, just please do us all a favor and go to yoga. And then I'd come back and I'd be like, hello, right? I'd be like so much happier. And I would thank him, because sometimes we are very much in it and we're all there for everybody else. And women especially, we're such nurturers and we're such caretakers. And, it almost when we don't have that worth, uh like when I struggle with my dad, it's so spiral because and so affiliated because I'm like, shit, if I'm not feeling worthy, then I'll give my kids more and then I'll feel worthy. Oh, I'll do this for my spouse, then I'll feel more worthy. Oh, let me go pour my heart into this job and then I'll be more worthy.
mhm.
But at the end of the day, I was born 100% amazing, like worthy, divine, angelic, right? And like God doesn't start with junk, and He certainly didn't start with me or you. So when we know that we're already perfectly whole and complete as is right here and right now, and I don't need to do or be anything in order to have that worth, then life is so much different. And then with intention and values, my trajectory and the decisions I make are so much different. Otherwise you're like a leaf blowing in the wind. So when we have our values, when we have our worth, when we have our self-love, and when we know what's most important, that's our North Star, you know?
Yeah. And without
So
that North Star, we often feel lost, right? We often feel a little bit not guided because we don't know where we're going.
yeah.
And that's a big part of what I believe is kind of the spiritual level of where we become unhealthy and where things start to, fall down into the other areas of the mental side, the mind side, and the body, the
Yeah.
biochemistry.